What's good? We back. We back. Paul Pickett, Palace LLC, Vlog 34. We're going to title this one COVID's Effects on Live Performances. Before we get started, hit that click now subscribe button. Let me get some water. You know, these vlogs and these podcasts make your mouth dry, whatnot. So this is Vlog 34, COVID's Effects on Live Performances. Let me get comfortable here. Sitting on a stool, got the green screen behind me. COVID's effects on live performances. Now, this vlog really only pertains to unsigned and up and coming artists. Like for mainstream artists, it's different. They already got fan base. So once, as you see, they're already, as soon as they start, doing shows and festivals again, they just automatically just get shows and get booked. Now, for unsigned artists and up and coming artists, I know a lot of y'all probably just sat back and waited for, things to get back to normal and COVID to simmer down. And it's not going to. COVID is not going nowhere, So, like, clubs have been restricted, bars, taverns. Most unsigned artists are not even performing at coliseums and civic centers and arenas, unless they're renting an arena out themselves, which really makes no sense for unsigned artists to do, because they're not gonna, unless they're booking a major artist to headline, it's not going to work. Normally, when unsigned artists book spots, they'll book a bar or a tavern, around 200 to 300, 400 people. But this idea that unsigned artists are pulling in 1,000 people into a venue based off of their name alone, it's bogus. It's not happening, Now, I've always recommended to my clients during COVID, like, you can't sit around and wait for clubs and bars and taverns to open back up fully. You have to revert that money to online, to, promote on your YouTube channel, TikTok influencers, Instagram influencers, Facebook ads, Instagram ads, whatever it may be, because, I've always said that doing live performances, and I don't mean open mics where you're performing in front of other artists, other rappers and singers, like actual doing live performances in front of nothing but fan base is always the best way to build fans. It's always been number one, touring and performing at shows, or open up for headline tours, or just renting out the venue yourself and just trying to bring in nothing but fans through the door. It's always been the number one fan builder offline. Touring has always been it, That's why, like, artists like J. Cole, when major artists sign artists and bring them in, the way they get them popping is they have them come in and open up for the tour or perform on the tour. Like, J. Cole is taking all his Dreamville cats on tour every single year, and that's pretty much how they build most of their fan base, unless they're promoting online. Now, I don't see Dreamville doing a ton of advertising online. I normally see just the videos drop, and that's that. Oh man. But so touring has always been number one, you know what I'm saying? Especially before the internet came. But now that's diminishing a little bit, because unsigned artists just can't go perform wherever they want to perform. South by Southwest and all these other festivals haven't come back yet. Those kind of festivals, they're not back yet. And South by Southwest, we don't even know if they're going to come back with actual people. Like, I heard that they're going to go virtual with it this first coming up year, which, I don't know. They could or they couldn't. And a lot of festivals might go virtual with it, which means you won't be performing at a lot of festivals if they go virtual, because the performances will be virtual, And that's another thing. Artists might need to get into doing more virtual performances. Even if it's just getting on Instagram and doing a free virtual performance, at first, or Facebook or whatever. Like artists might need to start doing that. You know what I'm saying? More virtual performances. Definitely, if you're not doing no virtual performances and no performances, period, you need to be advertising on YouTube, building your channel. You need to be paying TikTok influencers, Instagram influencers, running Instagram ads, Facebook ads, and whatever else you can afford. And that's another thing. Artists, y'all, a lot of y'all always come to us and we ask y'all a question like, what's your budget? And y'all's reply be like, well, what should my budget be? It's not up to us to tell you what your budget is. Your budget is going to be one of two things: whatever you can afford or whatever you're willing to spend. I always recommend people to go off of what they can afford. And unless you got an investor, then you go off of what your investor is willing to spend. So yeah, like COVID is definitely affecting live performances, clubs, taverns, bars, and that's where most of the unsigned artists are doing their shows. I know guys that are unsigned independent. They do tours all throughout the year. They might do a good 100 something shows. You know, they're renting out all these venues from city to city, state to state, and a whole year not doing that. That's a lot of money lost. That's a lot of fan building loss, you know, and whatnot. So yeah, man, y'all gotta. If you're not doing performances right now, you need to put all the money you can online, and you can't sit around and wait for things to get back to normal when COVID ain't going nowhere, man. COVID ain't going nowhere. I mean, already California is talking about mask mandating everybody again. That means vaccinated and non-vaccinated. So what does that tell you? If you're talking about mandating the vaccinated, what does that tell you? That the vaccine isn't as effective as they thought. There's 3 vaccines out there anyways. It's not like there's just one. There's 3 different vaccines, not even counting Sputnik, the Russian one. So it's not like there's just one solution. You know, like I'm not, that's the thing. Like in business, when you have an issue, there's not normally 3 or 4 solutions to the problem. There's normally one solution to the problem, but you're trying to give us 3 or 4 solutions to the problem, and wonder why a lot of people are leery about rushing. You rushed out the vaccines, but you want us to rush and go take them, and you don't got just one specific vaccine that works. You got 3 or 4 different vaccines, which goes to show you that you were not 100% sure, not even 90% sure, not even 80, 70% sure. You know, if you were 60% sure, you wouldn't be having 4 different vaccines out there. You know, so COVID is not going nowhere no time soon. Because even people who are vaccinated, this is fact. This is fact, people. This is not misinformation. This is fact. Right out of Charlemagne the God's mouth, that he has friends that have been hospitalized with COVID while after they taken the vaccination. They still were hospitalized. So there's still people being hospitalized with the vaccine. You know, so COVID is not going nowhere no time soon. And if you're an artist just sitting back waiting for things to get normal, nothing's getting back to normal anytime soon. You know, my life has been normal because nobody dictates my life. I live from home. I have a dog. I'm not married. I don't have an old lady. I work every single day of my life, Monday through Saturday. I don't go and party and hang out with a lot of people. You know, I don't party, period. Like, if I go hang out with a crowd of people, we better be talking and discussing about how we're going to get money together. If not, you got about 10 to 20 minutes and I'm going to bounce. I'm not in the business of wasting my time. Time is money when you're in a business like mine. I'm self-employed. I'm not employed. My time is money. And I don't work for less than $25 an hour. I don't care what I'm doing. If you want me to flip burgers, $25 an hour. That's what I cost. Because that's what I get. You know? So, yeah, man. COVID has definitely had a lot of effects on the live performance. And even though mainstream artists are getting back to the touring, all these democratic states like California, which are going to put the mask mandate back up, that's going to prevent a lot of people from going to shows. Who wants to go to a show for an hour and wear a mask? Not me. I'm not going nowhere for an hour and I got to wear a mask. I'm not going nowhere for an hour, period. And I got to wear a mask the whole time. No, I'm going to just stay home, and make money. So, yeah, COVID's not going nowhere. New York has also got now where they're bringing in that they're trying to bring in a vaccination ID where if you don't got this identification or a form of identification to show that you've been vaccinated, you won't be able to go out in society. It means no going to clubs, no going to restaurants, no going to the gyms. So if you think New York's going to be the only one to do that, then you're sadly mistaken. You're living in a fairy tale world. If you think California is going to be the only state to bring back the mask mandates, then you're living in a fairy tale world. Because what do California and New York both have in common? The top two markets in America for anything, media, music business, or whatever. LA in California, New York City in New York. So the top two markets, a lot of small markets are going to get in line, especially the Democratic ones when this COVID thing is being politicized. They're politicized this COVID thing. They're trying to force non-vaccinated people to get vaccinated against their will. They're trying to fearmonger them into doing it. They want kids, kindergarten kids at some schools to just they have to wear masks all day. That ain't flying with no kindergartners, man. They ain't gonna be able to do that. The attention span of a kindergartner, yeah. So COVID is gonna have major effects on touring for a long time and shows for a long time for mainstream artists and more so unsigned and independent artists. Because I can tell you right now that show promoters don't give a rat's ass about getting unsigned artists on performances right now. All the show promoters only care about booking mainstream artists, bringing them in, and getting ticket sales and making a ton of money off of the show. Because you got to think show promoters went a year and a half with no money. And a lot of show promoters have. They've had to try to find no show money for a year and a half. They've had to make money elsewhere. Clubs, bars, venues, a year and a half with barely making money, not making as much as they used to, not be able to bring in any kind of shows. Music performances, even if it's a small club or a small tavern or a small bar, music performance has always been a big way to bring in big crowds. This idea that liquor, that the bar alone is just going to bring people to the bar, to the bar and the club. No, man. It's got crowds of women. Crowds of women is what's bringing people to the bars, the taverns, and the clubs. And shows are usually the best way to bring in the crowds of women. Don't forget, hit that click now, subscribe button in that right-hand corner. Also, yeah, so during COVID, man, I need to put more money in the online. And another thing is COVID has affected club marketing as well. Club marketing has always been more effective than radio marketing. I'm going to say that again. Club marketing has also been more effective than radio marketing. And I hate when I see artists that always say they think they're selling out if they make club music. What business are you in? I mean, what business do you think you're in? What business are you in? What business do you think you're in? Because I can tell you right now, we're in the entertainment business. And people are like, well, I'm going to sell out if I make a club hit. Who are you selling out to? You apparently ain't trying to sell out tickets at a club. You ain't trying to sell out at a club if you perform. You ain't trying to sell out merchandise. You ain't trying to sell out CDs. You ain't trying to sell out anything if you always talking about, well, I'm going to sell out if I make a radio record or if I make a record for club. If you're a musician and you don't got a record for clubs, you're a complete moron. You're a complete idiot. You're stupid. You're dumber than a bag of bricks. I'm going to repeat that. I'm going to repeat that. If you are a musician and you don't even make one club record, you are dumber than a bag of bricks. You're stupid. You're a moron. I'm gonna go say the politically incorrect term. You're retarded. Somebody, I can't say that. You can't say retarded. Yeah, I can. I can say whatever I want. I might have to face the consequences. But you can't cancel me because I'm not even, my podcast and my vlogs are not famous yet. So you can't cancel me. And guess what? And when somebody is famous, the only people that can cancel them is their fan base, their consumer base. So this idea that they're gonna cancel Trump. You can't cancel Trump. Half of America loves him. Half of America supports him. You know how much money half of Americans have spent on Trump merchandise? You know? You think Trump ain't making money off of MAGA hats? I guarantee he is. He ain't the only one, but he's making money off MAGA hats. Yeah, so COVID has definitely affected performances, clubs, taverns, bars, coliseums, arenas. Mainstream artists, you see how it is. Once they start opening things back up, they just start performing. But unsigned artists, it's not just that easy. Because you're in the back of every show promoter's mind, every club, venue, bar owner's mind. Because the mainstream artists are going to bring in the money. The people with fan base are already going to bring in the money. So that's all they're going to be worried about on shows at first. So unsigned artists, even when it starts to open up, there's only going to be so much opportunity at first for all the unsigned artists. You're all going to be fighting over a small portion of opportunity for unsigned artists to perform. And all the people that make a business, that make a living off of the business of unsigned artists and up and coming artists, paying them to open up for major artist tours like Chris Brown or whoever. And I can tell you right now, those artists are paying $3,000-$4,000 a show to open up for Chris Brown. Ain't nobody letting you open up for Chris Brown for free unless Chris Brown's best friend or you're the show promoter's best friend. And even then, sometimes a lot of show promoters don't have say-so in the openers. A lot of times when they're like a certain caliber artists want their openers to open. Yeah, so don't think that everybody's going to be opening up the floodgates for unsigned artists for shows right away. Especially festivals ain't coming back soon. Let's not. I don't like South by Southwest. We'll see how it goes. If they go virtual this next year, it's not going to bode well for artists. Because if people get comfortable and they find virtual being an easy thing to do, and they can still make a lot of money doing virtual, they'll do it. So yeah, artists, y'all need to do more virtual shows yourself. Just get on there and do more virtual live performances. You need to make sure that you're reverting any money that you was going to spend like doing festivals and shows to YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. Excuse me, this water got me at the burp. But y'all can't sit around and just wait for things to get normal. I mean, if you are, then your music ain't moving, you ain't building no fans, and touring is the number one joint at building fans if you're performing in front of nothing but music fans. But for unsigned artists, it's going to be a struggle. It's going to be a struggle. It really is. I just don't see y'all performing everywhere. I mean, open mics. How many open mics are really going on in places right now? How many unsigned artists are really opening up for headliners right now? I can tell you none of them are open up for Rolling Loud. Ain't no unsigned artists getting on Rolling Loud. That's all mainstream artists, period. So y'all got to manage y'all's expectations on live performances and just start doing more virtual live performances, and focus on reverting any money you would spend on festivals and live performances to online, man. YouTube, TikTok influencers, Instagram influencers, Facebook, man. I mean, it really sucks. It's tough, but the top three places, this is the top three places for artists to promote. I'm going to name them right now. Live performances, and I don't mean open mics, it's always been number one. But right now, it's not number one. No. because of COVID restrictions. It's number 3. I wouldn't even put it number 3 right now because of COVID restrictions. I really can't even really place it. So right now, number 1 to build fan base is YouTube, and number 1 to break records is TikTok. And that can lead to fan base as well. Breaking a record can lead to fan base, and building fan base can lead to breaking a record, and vice versa. So YouTube and TikTok, and then Instagram influencers would probably be my number 3. So I don't even know really where shows and live performances ranks right now during COVID as far as being, effective for building fan base for unsigned up and coming artists. Even major labels, when they sign artists that don't really, their name's not out there, they're paying for them to open up for headline tours. They'll pay for them to do 10, 15 slots to open up for a certain artist or whatnot. Or they might put them on a tour with an artist that's already signed to their label. That's usually how it works. But a lot of that ain't gonna be going on right now because most of the artists don't even start they solo tours till like next month. And some of these places with these restrictions, they're gonna find out when they go to some of these places with these that start mass mandating and still got restrictions that a lot of people ain't gonna be showing up. It's still 50-50. Half America's scared shitless of COVID, and the other half is like me. We trying to get on with our lives and just live lives and not let the government dictate our lives and let fear. You can't live life based off of fear. I'm going to repeat that, man. You can't live life based off of fear. And when things like COVID come about and happen, you have to evolve and adapt. That's it. You have to evolve and adapt. When I first got into online marketing, I did targeted Twitter followers, and I used a software called TweetBig, which was the best targeted Twitter follower software I've ever seen to this day, right? But they had API issues. Could I control that they had API issues with Twitter? No. So, could they control it? No. Because it's Twitter. They don't own Twitter. They own the software. All I could control was evolving and adapting into other services. And ever since then, I've always wanted to be an octopus at marketing promotions. I have to do multiple things. You need blogs, we can do blogs. You need influencers, we got influencers. You need playlists, we got playlists. You need to run ads, we got ads. You need SEO, we got SEO. You need to get artwork designs or editing designs of videos and stuff. We can get it done. We don't typically offer it, but we can get it done. You need your joints, your record service to record pools with feedback. We can get it done. You need to service your music out to a bunch of DJs. We can get it done. So I always try to do multiple things. But especially during with things like COVID, you gotta a lot of people had to try to find other sources of income. Luckily me, I just added new sources of income and keep all the same ones. But a lot of people, show promoters have had to try to find new sources of income. A lot of show promoters. Anybody, comedians had to find new sources of income during, artists had to find mainstream artists had to find new sources of income during COVID. And artists, period. Mainstream artists during COVID, when they wasn't getting tour money, they was looking for new ways to capitalize. They was looking for new places to monetize whatever they're doing to make money off of it. And nowadays, artists are monetize their YouTubes, their Instagrams. If they have a TikTok, they can monetize that. I don't know if Twitters are really monetized, but then you got all the streaming platforms that they make money off of. Then you got to think some artists might have been selling merchandise during COVID, even though they wasn't doing shows, And merchandise, you should be trying to sell merchandise day to day, regardless if you're doing shows or not. You know, you should just try to be selling merchandise just to sell merchandise, not just because you make music. Griselda got popping off of T-shirts and merchandise before they even got popping off of music. That can open up. You get your T-shirts popping. That opens up avenues for you to make your music pop even easier and more. Because the music business is nothing but a gateway to other businesses, anyways, and other ventures and opportunities. If you going into the music business as it's your number one source of income, and you think it's gonna be your number one source of income forever, you sadly mistaken. Old school rappers were hurting during COVID. A lot of old school rappers were hurting during COVID. They didn't have enough money in the bank like these mainstream artists to get by paying their bills. A lot of those people had. I guarantee a lot of old schoolers that never had 9 to 5s had to go get 9 to 5s. A lot of old schoolers that didn't have 9 to 5s had to go get 9 to 5s. And the ones that had 9 to 5s, a longer term, were just working their 9 to 5s for a year and a half. And that's pretty much how it broke down. Yeah, so COVID, man, yeah, it's affected people. It hasn't really affected me. And you as an artist can definitely maneuver in a way where COVID doesn't affect you. You as an artist, you can make it. You could build fan base with just your YouTube without doing a ton of. You could do all your performing on YouTube. You don't need to do live performances. Even like Moray, for example, they built Moray's whole fan base without any live performances. And then he got to like 300, 400,000 subscribers. And then they started having Moray do shows because they knew Moray wasn't going to be able to do no shows anyways during COVID. What was he going to be able to do anyways? But that still doesn't stop taking an artist with an instant hit and putting money behind it and make it an instant hit. And I seen in 4 months, I seen Moray go from 40,000 subscribers to, I think he's at 600,000 now. And done been on the Breakfast Club and Jimmy Kimmel Live. Those two things right there, once you do those two things, you're pretty much in there. So yes, people, you don't need live performances to get popping. But once you get popping, yes, you want to do live performances to make all that money off of them. But this idea that you even need live performances to get popping is bogus, fairy tale, imaginary, made up. Because Moray and them just showed you they could do it without live performances. And he just started performing after he got popping, And that's the thing. You can't get no big paid shows anyways until you got a certain amount of fans. So all y'all artists thinking that they're talking about you should get paid. If you ain't sold one piece of merchandise yet, or you ain't sold one download of your album yet, you should not be getting paid to perform no shows. Stop it. You have no fans. You have no fans. Once again, I want to thank y'all for tuning in. My name is Paul Pickett, owner of Promo Palace LLC. This vlog was titled COVID's Effects on Live Performance. Once again, check out promopalace.biz, online marketing promotions for musicians and brands. That's promopalace.biz. Check out newlitter.com. That's newlitter.com, New Litter Apparel for all you dog lovers. We got cat lovers t-shirts coming soon. We got t-shirts, hats, hoodies, shoes, and we even got things for your dogs to wear like dog bandanas and dog tags, and I think we got dog bowls as well. Also, check out Dizzle Brand. For Shizzle, check out the Dizzle Brand, dizzlebrand.com. Follow them on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. They got a bunch of recipes. Look out for Dizzle Brand to come to a ABC store or a club or a bar near you. And Dizzle Brand, that's cognac, agave tequila, orange liquor, mango mix, and crisp lemon. Haven't had none yet, but it sounds good. Also, don't forget to check out my audio version of my vlog. Goes to my podcast, Paul Pickett Podcast. That can be seen not seen, but it can be heard on Apple, Google, Spotify, Amazon, Odyssey, Castbox, Deezer, iHeart, Player FM, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, Stitcher, TuneIn, and many more. You can Google Paul Pickett Podcast, and you can also Google Promo Palace LLC YouTube, and you'll see all these vlogs. The video version of these vlogs go to my YouTube, my Instagram, and my Facebook. If you're on Instagram and Facebook when you watch these, hit that follow. If you're on YouTube, hit that click now subscribe button. I want to thank y'all for tuning in for another vlog. We're going to keep it moving. That's how we do. Peace, and I'm out.